Well, good afternoon. Well, today, I know I haven't made anything in a few weeks, but today I decided that I would make my favorite birthday cake of all time. And I have to do a little bit of a different kind of thing to it because when I went to get the ingredients for it, they did not have vanilla pudding. Of all things, they did not have vanilla pudding. So we're going to do it with chocolate instead. This is a Boston cream pie, but I couldn't find my metal cake pans, so I'm going to do it in a bundt cake. So that's why there's a little bit of a spin to this one. It's going to be just a little different than what you normally would see me make. So let's get started. First, we're going to mix up the cake mix and get it in the oven because it's going to take about 38 minutes to cook. And you're going to notice that I have milk over here in a mason jar. Well, that is goat's milk. So I'm going to use that in the pudding. And of course I have my own eggs over here because, you know, I have to use stuff that I have here on the place because you're paying for it, so you might as well use it, right? So you got 3 eggs, and I don't know if I've ever said this before, but when you are using fresh farm eggs, you want to put them in first. And the reason being is sometimes you get a blood egg, but we're not going to get a blood egg because these are brand spanking new. I picked these out of the chicken house last night. So, nice new eggs. So we're done with the eggs. Put them back here. And then we're going to add a cup of water. It's better to do it at room temperature, but sometimes you just got to take it out of the faucet. And our next thing is half a cup of oil. You can use any kind of oil. It says vegetable oil, but honestly, I never use vegetable oil. I never buy it. The only one I ever buy is canola. So I'm one of them people that just throws everything in there and mixes it up because I'm lucky that way, I guess. You can use a whisk, but you don't have to. I have enough of them, so we'll use one. You can use an electric mixer, but honestly, I hardly ever use one of them either because I hate cleaning the darn things. I guess I've gotten lazy in my old age and there's lots of stuff I just don't like to do anymore. So in case you didn't know, today is my birthday. And that's why I'm making my birthday cake. And Randy's supposed to be home tomorrow, so he'll get to have some of this. Boston cream pie is a cold cake. You want to keep it in the refrigerator. Make sure you have room in your refrigerator. This is just my take on Boston cream pie. You can make this any way you want. Why they call it a pie, I have no idea, but you can go by the recipe on the internet if you want, or you can do this one. It's not hard. So I'm using a bundt pan. And when you use a bundt pan, you make sure you oil it or grease it or spray it really good, because if you don't, it will stick and you'll never get that cake out of there. I use coconut oil spray. And you can use any kind you want. That's the beauty of cooking stuff. You can make up your own, make it up the way as you go kind of thing. You don't have to go by somebody else's rules. Well, you do to a point, but for the most part you don't. I need a bigger area. So anyway, I've already preheated the oven to 325 because I'm using this non-stick pan. I love the word non-stick pan because it just means you just gotta spray it. It's gonna stick if you don't. I haven't baked a cake for a while, so just nobody jump up and down. Remember when you were a kid and your mom had a cake in the oven and you kids would go running through the house and get in trouble because you jumped up and down and made the cake fall? Well, right now Betty's running around and she's gonna make my cake fall. So then you put this cake in the oven for bundt cake pan says 38 to 43 minutes. So we'll split the difference and we'll call it 40 minutes. And I'll set my timer because if I don't, I'll forget. Okay, so your next thing that you're going to be mixing up is going to be your pudding. So you got to have 2 cups of milk, and you mix that with that for 2 minutes. So the great thing about this milk is it has been it's actually measured already, but we can use a measuring cup. And in case you're wondering what this tastes like, honestly, it just tastes like milk. It don't taste like a goat. It doesn't have any bad smell to it. You wouldn't know the difference. So you just make it like the package says, and then you're going to put it in the refrigerator. It's always good to refrigerate this because it makes it cold, and that's what you want. So it's just pudding. Made with goat's milk. I'm not going to tell you that it's any better made from goat's milk. It's just what I had on hand. So for the next 2 minutes, you just mix. You can do this with a mixer, but I don't want to have to clean it, so I know I'm lazy. It's okay. Says it takes 5 minutes for it to set. And it's going to take me another 1.5 minutes to get it all mixed up. That's why I said put it in the refrigerator, and it'll be perfect. You're not going to use all this pudding most likely, because you just won't. So I'll just put some plastic wrap on it, and then I'll stick it in the refrigerator and let it sit there. Okay, so cake is out of the oven, been cooled for several minutes. I shook the cake. I shook it a little too much, so I don't know if it's going to come out even or not. You're supposed to, you can put your pudding in by sticking holes in it like a poke cake, or you can do it the way that I'm getting ready to do it. Hopefully it all came out. Nope, it didn't. So you shake it a little, and sometimes it all comes out, and sometimes it don't. So, yes, I messed up my cake. Well, this is what happens sometimes when your cake doesn't turn out like you wanted it to. One side came out really easy, and the other side decided that it said, I'll just come out like I want. So that's what it did. So, yes, you can save it. It just takes a little bit to save it. So anyway, while I'm going to save it here, here's your icing. And you got to put this in the microwave for about, I don't know, 30 seconds. Sometimes is enough, sometimes not. We'll start with 30 seconds. There's a couple of different ways that you can mess up this cake now. The first way is you can just go and just cut it. And then you can put it back together with your chocolate pudding. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it happens. So normally you would be able to just to pick this up and take it off. But that's not what's going to happen. Here's my chocolate pudding. Oh yes. 30 seconds is plenty of time for that part. Get another plate. And we'll take off part of it, and the other part we're going to just have to piece it back together as best we can. It's my birthday cake, and it's my birthday, and I'll just eat it like it happens. Okay, so isn't that pretty? I mean, it would be prettier if, you know, it actually turned out right, but isn't it pretty? And I didn't cut it straight, but, you know, it happens. So like I told you, most likely you're not going to use all of this pudding. But it's going to work really good to stick this cake back together with. I'm going to make it about, oh, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. Now, normally this would be vanilla or Bavarian cream, but since the grocery store I went to didn't have any, and you know, that's just normal right now, stuff just isn't there. So you just got to make do with what you got. Same with putting the cake back together again. So just spread it on there, make it pretty, best you can. set that out of the way. This part of the cake will go back together really nicely. Just set it on there. And then this part, you just have to slowly put her back together again. Because we're just going to put chocolate over the top of it anyway. I'll take that off. And since we're going to cover it up with chocolate, it's not going to hurt nothing. Now, if I was making this for somebody else, I would probably have redone the whole cake. But it's just me. Well, and Randy when he gets here. So, that's about the best I can do with that part. I won't even give Randy the broken stuff. He'll get the nice part of the cake and I'll take the broken stuff. So, now that we have that on, now we can put that on. So you just, technically, you just go around and pour this on. And I don't even think you can consider it a Boston cream pie now. It's more like a chocolate mess. Yeah, once you put it in the refrigerator and it sets up again, it'll be just fine. Anyway, it's a mess of a cake, but it's going to be good. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the cake.